Welcome back to the Pot of Thrones continuing coverage of San Diego Comic-Con 2018. I'm Jeff.
I'm Jennifer.
All right, so we're going to talk about some of our Hall H experiences this year. So for anyone that is not familiar with Comic-Con, how would you describe Hall H? Like that, huh? Oh, breathe heavier, baby.
It's an experience. A major, maybe life-changing experience.
Okay.
Yeah, life-changing.
Life-changing. Wow.
I have a different look on life now.
Is it because of the how you get into Hall H, or the sea of humanity that is Hall H, or seeing celebrities?
All of it.
Talk about
the craziness. So,
okay,
if you have not experienced Comic-Con, Hall H, it's extremely difficult to get into, and you have to, if you want to sit anywhere near the front, camp out for literally days.
Yeah. Last year we went to, I think, all 4 days. No, maybe we skipped Sunday, but 3 out of the 4 days of Hall H, because we wanted to just get all the cool stuff. Marvel was there, and Game of Thrones, and all the things.
It was an epic year last year.
Yes, it really was. Less epic this year, but
Westworld, Game of Thrones too.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
We never saw a Rick and Morty panel.
It was not panel. I'm just saying.
Okay.
The Comic-Con experience. There was like a lot there last year.
Oh, well, all right.
Anyway.
But yeah, so getting into Hall H, all we wanted to do was get in for Friday to see Walking Dead stuff. And that's all because we saw Walking Dead stuff there last year. We had never watched the show before. But now we're fans. So we wanted to get into the Walking Dead panels, and people did start camping out Wednesday for the Friday panels.
Right.
It's kind of crazy.
It is cray-cray.
Yeah. But it worked. I spent about 5 hours online, but some other people, they camped out overnight. They sat in the sun, and it's dedicated.
It's
dedication.
Very right. And it's always the same people every year.
You mean that
doing the camping out? I mean, there are some newcomers, but it's typically the same. Right.
Well,
so.
we got hooked up with a group that does this line waiting, and boy, howdy, do they do it well. One of the best, I guess you could say, and in all of Comic-Con with the camping out and the organized line sitting.
It's pretty intense. So anyway, you wait for days with thousands of people. This place is so crowded. You can imagine, like, on the worst of days at Disneyland, crowded sometimes, especially on the boardwalk on like Saturdays when they're still camping out. It's so crowded. So they'll let you in at like 10 a.m. on the day of your panel. Panel start at 11. Mm-hmm. And you have to be waiting there like early in the morning. They give you out wristbands, all this stuff. And if you're not there, you miss out.
Yeah. You have to be back by a certain time in the morning when they start consolidating the lines. And if you try to sneak in too late, they start getting mad at you. And all sorts of stories about people that just didn't quite do it right and wound up suffering the consequences for it. Maybe going to the back of the line, which is no fun after you've been putting that many hours into it.
Yeah.
But they did refine the system this year after last year's fraud. There were fraudulent wristbands that people were using to get into Hall H ahead of people that had actually waited for them. Mm-hmm. That was bad. So this year they were scanning badges, really tightening up the system as best they could, but still all the camping that they've always had. So this year we only camped out for the Walking Dead panels. And that was Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead. Prior to that, there was Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, which we also will be coming to you soon with a...
Love it.
We're going to talk about that soon. But we want to talk about The Walking Dead stuff first. We haven't talked about Walking Dead for a while. We were actually going like episode by episode for a short time there, and then Westworld started ramping up, and that took over. So we never even talked about how some of this stuff ended, but
we should do that.
The first panel at Hall H Comic-Con was Fear the Walking Dead. They did that first. Mm-hmm. And right now we're still in the mid-season break. So this season of Fear the Walking Dead, spoilers aplenty, because there's spoilers aplenty in the panel. So if you're going to listen to the panel, you might as well listen to us talk spoilers. Otherwise, pause this, go watch all of Fear the Walking Dead, and then come back to your podcast.
So it's 2 seasons, isn't it?
4. We're on season 4 now.
Wow.
Yeah. Halfway through season 4. So big stuff happened in Fear the Walking Dead during this first half of the season. We lost 2 of our main characters that we've had for these first 4 seasons.
Right. Nick
and Madison.
Is she really gone?
Well, okay, let's talk about that. All right, so Nick, definitely gone. Nick,
he died.
Got shot by a teenage girl who was angry and stuff. So that just seemed like a senseless waste of life. Of course, it was all following this plot where Nick was learning the value of life, but then, thanks to Morgan, who joined the Fear the Walking Dead this year after leaving The Walking Dead, Morgan was teaching him the value of saving a life, but Nick really wanted to kill this one dude, just this one dude, who screwed them over before. And so he killed that dude, and then this teenage girl that they have been trying to win over shot him because she was also fond of the dude.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I don't even think she was a teenager. She looked more like 11.
All right. Teen or preteen. Not like a toddler or anything. So Nick died, and we saw him die on camera. Someone had to poke his brain. And then Madison technically died off camera, but it seems really unlikely that she could get out of the predicament she was in. She was surrounded by burning walkers and was just trying to let everyone have a chance at getting away, as I recall.
Well, if we didn't see her die.
We technically did not see her die.
She'll be back.
They really don't mind. My daughter's watching The Walking Dead now, and there's this scene, again, spoilers, but come on, it was years ago. This kid named Noah dies. Remember Noah, babe? He was the kid that Beth met in the hospital. He had the gimpy leg.
Is he black?
Yes.
Yes.
And he dies pressed up against the door of this revolving door, with one of the other characters watching on as he gets torn to pieces. And my daughter's reaction was hilarious, to say the very least. But she was appalled at what they were showing on the television as like these zombies ripped in, like pulled his cheeks apart. They were pulling at his mouth and stuff while they were biting into his neck, and he's screaming and just staring just full-eyed at Glenn, who was watching it all happen. It was disgusting. But Madison, so they don't shy away from showing us the violence, but Madison died without us really seeing at all what happened to her. Maybe that was just because the actress wanted her dignity. I don't know. But they made their choice, and technically she died off camera. So that could mean that she comes back someday, but it seems like it's probably not going to happen.
Well, I guess we'll find out someday. Or we won't.
Yeah, we'll find out if the show ends eventually and she never came back. But she's probably gone. So they've introduced these new characters, John Dory and Althea. And what's the other one's name? She's got like 8 different names.
Annie?
It's Jenna Elfman. She's had a bunch of different character names in the show, and I don't remember what her actual name is. Laura, I think, was the one we heard the most of, but that's not her actual name. Naomi, maybe? I don't know. She got a bunch of names.
Naomi was one of them, I think.
These are the ones inheriting the show, I guess. We still have Alicia, and we still have Strand. I was trying to think. Coleman Domingo as Strand. There we go. So we still have those guys. We still have some of the major characters. I think there's some that we still don't know the full status of. There was this whole explosion at the end of season 3, and everyone got scattered. So there might be some people that are still alive, and we just don't know it. I'm not sure. But yeah, so this panel was talking about the lead up to the second half of season 2, what kind of stuff we're going to see. There's going to be new enemies, and the special effects spectacular. Do you remember, babe? I know it's been a few days since we saw the panel, but...
No, what was it?
It was the hurricane.
Oh, yeah.
There's a hurricane coming to Texas. I gotta say, the effects were pretty cool, watching someone like stare down some walkers that are coming at them, and then the walkers just get blown off like Dorothy and her Toto.
Wait, a hurricane or a tornado? Was there water?
I thought it was a hurricane, but then they did say tornado on stage. I don't know. I guess it could just be a tornado.
Hurricane is over the ocean.
But a hurricane also lasts a lot longer. A tornado...
Well, I guess it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I got the impression that the widespread devastation was more of a hurricane. But yeah, something. A big storm. That's what I'm talking about.
Do you want to talk about the Whisperers?
That's not this.
That's next.
That's Walking Dead.
Oh.
Not Fear the Walking Dead.
For some reason I was thinking it was this one.
No, this one they did introduce some characters driving around in a truck. But that's all we really saw.
Yucking it up.
So, the trailer should be out on YouTube, Fear the Walking Dead mid-season, season 4 trailer. But, yeah, there wasn't too much there, but I did enjoy watching the storm go, and I'm going to enjoy watching that in the show too. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
They do have a new writer on this one.
That's also The Walking Dead.
Dang it. Thought they had a new one on this one too.
Nope. I mean, they might.
Oh, I remember what I was thinking. I was thinking of, what's the special effects guy's name? Rick.
Oh, Greg Nicotero.
Greg Nicotero. He was talking about how they've had to redo the way they do the special effects of the zombies and their makeup and stuff because now they're in a dry area and it's all new.
Oh yeah.
Special effects and
some
of them were pretty cool.
He talks about it in this panel, so you're going to hear it, but it is pretty neat. And I've heard this come up before of like, if you really pay attention, just in The Walking Dead, between season 1 and season 8, the walkers keep changing as they're sort of decaying. And of course, some more people are going to die and they'll turn into zombies too. But overall, over the span of these few years, the walkers are still going, but they're getting slower. They're more decayed.
There is no way a zombie could last more than like 3 months. No way. I would be like even a week.
If you're going to go all science, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't even be a week because
you would just fall.
The body stops operating.
Right. You would not.
It's the big explanation that this show just can't handle, but they sort of explained it in these panels as, do you remember? The cause of the virus. And maybe it explains why the zombies have so much energy.
Oh, what did they say?
The blue meth from Breaking Bad.
Right.
Now, that's a long-time fan theory, but I guess no one's brought it up at a panel before because they seemed tickled by it. But yeah, so that's been declared, quote-unquote, declared as canon now. Like, that's really how the zombie apocalypse started because we're probably never going to get any other answer.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So here's the panel. Who was on the panel? We had all the current stars, right? Mm-hmm. We had Alicia and Strand, and I suppose I should tell you what their actual names are. But I'm not going to because that would take time to look it up. So just listen in. They're going to introduce them all. So we have all the new characters, John Dory and Althea and, Jenna Elfman, whose name you can't not know for whatever reason. Probably because she's an elf, man. So this is a panel with all of them, plus the writers and Greg Nicotero, who's the special effects guy, and also sometimes now a director. And they're just going to talk about all the cool stuff coming up.
Oh, and Strand also directed, and everybody loved it.
That's right. He directed an episode in the second half of season 4. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Good for him. Looking forward to seeing it.
Listen.
So thank you, AMC, for putting on a great panel, and a second great panel, which will be coming very soon, because we're going to talk about that too.
That one was way interesting.
Well, there's big stuff happening in the Walking Dead world.
Mm-hmm.
Big shakeups. So
all right, here we go.
Let's talk about that too. We'll put this panel on and then stay tuned in. Regular Walking Dead panels coming right up.
Well, then you're in the right place. We're going to get a couple hours of some zombie action. Out of curiosity, how many of you guys not only watch the TV show but read the comics as well? Come on, how many of you read the comics? So for those of you that don't and have only watched the show, don't think that by reading the comics it's just a reiteration of what happens on the show. There's definitely lots of fun and exciting stuff that happens in the comics too, and it is different. So if you're a fan of comics and you haven't watched the show, hopefully this is going to get you to want to watch the shows. And if you're a fan of the shows and haven't read the comics, you definitely should check those out as well. And so I think we want to get into that zombie action. One thing I do want to mention, and for those of you that have been in the room before, you know, you're probably going to get some sneak peek footage of what's to come. We just want to make sure that you don't record the footage. You can definitely let everyone know that you got to see it first. but please don't record it because we want to make sure that you keep getting this type of exclusive footage. And with that, our moderator, Yvette Nicole Brown, will be out shortly. But for now, they have a little special clip they want to show you first. So enjoy the panel, guys.
Announcements. Okay, first, the mid-season premiere of Fear the Walking Dead will air on August 12th. I don't see anybody writing anything down. Y'all need to write it. Also, because it's also my birthday, so I'm gonna need y'all to write it down. Okay. I know this. Talking Dead for Fear will follow each episode, so no more waiting. It's going to be immediate. And also, these are my last two. For those of you looking to catch up on the first half of season 4, it's currently available on AMC.com and the AMC app. And for those who want to watch the whole series, who hasn't seen? Y'all seen the whole series, but if you want to catch up, it's on Hulu, seasons 1 through 3. All right. I want to say this before we show the trailer. This is a really great show, you guys. We know this, right? Yes? I'm going to show you what's to come in the second half, but if there's anyone here that has not yet had the experience of Extra Crispy Walking Dead, as I call it, Fear the Walking Dead is amazing. So I'm going to show you this little sneak peek of what's to come in the second half, and then we're going to bring out a whole group of wonderful people for you to meet. All right? Shall we do it? And the creators. First of all, we have showrunners and executive producers Andrew Shambliss and Ian Goldberg. Come on up here, guys. They're responsible for this new look that we're seeing in season 4. Next is the great and powerful Scott M. Gimple. World creator Robert Kirkman. My love, Lenny James, who plays Morgan. The fabulous, the wonderful Coleman Domingo, who plays Strand. The winsome Denai Garcia, who plays Luciana. The woman that is all things to all people, the beautiful, the wonderful Jenna Elfman, she plays June, Naomi, and Laura. The beautiful and the strong and the fierce Maggie Grace, who plays Al. John Dory, Garrett, come on. Walk together. Make it a family thing. Garrett Dillahunt plays John Dory and the beautiful, wonderful Maggie Grace. Then we have executive producers Gail Ann Hurd, the wonderful Greg Nicotero, and Dave Albert. All right, guys. Hi, everybody. How you feeling? You're good?
Yeah.
Okay. This first question is for Andrew and Ian. What can you tell us about the big storm we just saw in the trailer and what it means for the group? There were like walkers flying like Dorothy. It was a whole bunch of craziness.
Well, when we last left our characters at the end of season 4A, they were around a campfire. They seemed to be together, but there was a lot of unresolved issues. They have questions about what they mean to each other, to themselves, how they can make up for everything they did. So these are really kind of weighty existential questions.
Yes.
So we thought we'd make it more fun to answer them by throwing walkers at them.
While they try
200 miles an hour.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I saw a few familiar faces in the trailer, wonderful actors that we've known for years. Can you tell us who the new cast members are this year?
We can. We have a few really exciting new people that we're going to be seeing in the back half of the season. And they're going to bring very different energies to the show. Some are going to bring humor and a different way of looking at the world. Some are going to bring hope. We're going to maybe take away that hope. But they're going to bring a lot of variety to the show. And you saw them in the trailer, but the actors we're bringing on are Aaron Stanford, Stephen Henderson, Tanya Pinkins, Mo Collins, and Daryl Chilman.
Daryl is the first person we've seen in the Walking Dead universe that's in a wheelchair.
That is correct.
And he's actually in a wheelchair in real life. He's a wonderful guy. And so we're going to get to see how that affects the environment. That's wonderful. Lenny.
Hello.
Hi, Lenny. Lenny, have you gotten a chance to rest since you shot The Walking Dead and Fear back to back? How has that been for you?
Well, I had 4 days in between for Thanksgiving and flying to London. So, not really. I just got back from London the other day. I worked out the other day that I have done 54 hours of television back to back with about 3 weeks break total.
Yeah.
So
that sounds reasonable.
Sounds reasonable. I can't really complain because the alternative is not working.
Not working.
So I'll take this one.
What are you most excited for the fans to see coming from Morgan in the second half of this?
I am actually genuinely most excited about the fans seeing Morgan going to the toilet.
Did you guys hear? He's on the loo. He's going to the loo?
Going to the toilet, going to the bog, going to the loo. I had a conversation, I got a phone call.
Hold on, the bog?
Yeah, the bog.
The bog? Is that a British?
That's a British thing. Bog, loo.
The best.
There's other ones I can't say. But yeah, I got a telephone call from Andrew and Ian said, and I had to have a really serious conversation with you, Lenny. There is a thing we're thinking about putting into the script, and we want to be really sure that you are okay with it. And I was like, oh, this is going to be really exciting. And all it was, can we show Morgan going to the toilet? That was it. So I'm really excited about you seeing that.
And I gotta say, he killed it.
I killed it.
Those dailies got us through many a long night of writing. So.
I felt like a big boy. I did number 2s on my own. And also, there are new challenges for Morgan coming up in the second half about where he belongs and if he belongs and how he belongs. And I'm looking forward to you guys seeing that. Hope you enjoy it.
Hey, Robert, what was it like?
Yes.
Hi. What was it like to see Morgan, a character from the graphic novels, in both worlds? What was that like for you?
I mean, amazing. I think that the character of Morgan has been such a huge part of the Walking Dead series, and it's been really exciting for me. One, because I've been a huge fan of Lenny James for many, many years, long before he was on The Walking Dead, and the opportunity to work with him has been amazing. But the character has lived so far beyond where I took him in the comic book series, and the fact that all of the writers on Walking Dead and now the writers on Fear the Walking Dead have been, building this character, working with Lenny, taking him to places that I could have never foreseen, that I myself, would never have been able to do, built him into something that is just absolutely amazing and really kind of overshadows what I did with him in the comic in a way that I find really gratifying. To see a nugget that existed in a comic grow into this amazing thing brings me no end of joy.
Awesome. Thank you.
But I'm really excited about this bathroom scene, guys. Morgan in the bog.
Hey, Scott.
I mean, they are at his ankles. Sometimes people leave their pants.
Scott. Okay. I'm sorry, everybody. Scott. Okay, so when you sat down with Andrew and Ian and you said, we're doing this, what were your goals for the second half of the season?
To be just by way of variety, different from the first.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little program called Pete and Pete.
Mm-hmm.
There you are. The gentleman on that show said they were pursuing sad, funny, strange, beautiful. Mm-hmm. So we checked all those boxes and we added scary and screwed up.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Dave? Hi, Dave. That's Dave Alford down there, you guys. Dave, what will it mean for our group if they don't have a home base like the stadium or the hotel?
I think having a home base allows you to have a sense of safety and security.
Yeah.
I think once you lose that, it makes it there's constant threat and visceral danger pretty much at every turn. So I think it's going to be pretty exciting and pretty scary for the second half.
Awesome. Hey, Alicia.
Hey.
Hi. It's your birthday today.
Hey.
I told you. I'm just trying to tell you because you didn't know.
It was weird. I was like, is that? I can't remember.
Yes, let's do it. Let's just do it.
Oh, no. Yes.
Come on. Happy birthday to you. Fast, that was right on time. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday to you. Birthday girl, what was the experience like shooting the hurricane scenes for you?
This is actually probably a really great time to bring it up.
Yes.
With Ian and Andrew.
Let's do it.
I swear you guys have like a vendetta against me. I was like, every single episode, I'm in like water or a hurricane or in a basement somewhere. And, like, just, I don't know, not the bottom.
Or all of the above.
Not the bottom. But it's funny because I've already, when I read it, I'd already done like a Storm movie before with actually Sarah Wayne Kelly from The Walking Dead.
Yes.
So when I read it, I was just like, oh Lord, this is just gonna be like a whole thing. Like, because it's fun when you read it on paper, but the reality of shooting something like that is it is uncomfortable, to say the least. Like, it's super fun looking back, but at the time, like, it's just a lot. Like, there are 100-mile-an-hour wind fans. You're in like wet suits every day and like wet jeans, and then you're like trying to like awkwardly get yourself out of wet jeans to go to lunch so you're not like freezing. It's like a bizarre sort of way to spend your time.
Yeah.
But so when I read it, I was like, oh, this is just gonna be like a week from hell. But it was actually fantastic. And it's funny though, we had one day on set where it actually did storm, but you can't really shoot in a storm on a set because of all the like legal stuff.
Yeah.
So we had to like postpone production
Had to
for
wait
like
out
5 hours while the real storm happened, and then we went right back to our fake storm. But yeah, it was awesome.
Awesome. Happy birthday. Hey, Greg Nicotero. Hi, Greg. Yes. Executive producer, special effects genius, director. All around great guy, great hair, lovely family. He's just blessed. What did you have to take into consideration when you were designing the walkers for the crossover to Fear?
Well, you know, the first couple seasons, they were always referred to as infected. They were recently turned. So we never were able to really push the envelope. And knowing that we were jumping in time on Fear and Lenny was coming into the fray, it gave us the opportunity to really create some continuity between Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. And one of the main constants are the walkers. So I'm tremendously proud of my team. A lot of the makeups that you saw in the trailer, we were really able to step it up a lot. And based on what Alicia was saying, for me, watching the dailies of the tornado scene and having all the stunt guys hooked up to cables and they're standing in the foreground of a shot and all of a sudden they get whisked out on these cables, it was really wild. You know, I mean, between Scott and Ian and Andrew, you know, we want to make sure that Fear has its own identity, its own fingerprint. So the walker gags are different. You know, the walker that got run over by the truck. Everything that we do, we want to make sure that you guys are getting a different experience. And this season, especially with the addition of the new cast, it really is a new show. It's a show that I love watching, and I'm really excited for you guys to see what's happening. But we've been able to kind of up our game in terms of the walkers and the prosthetic stuff. And
this is the thing, you guys. Greg is very honest. Even if it's something that he works on, he's very honest. So it's not like he's like, watch this show because it's great. I'm telling you guys, you want to get into Fear. It is really like, it's really good.
It's awesome. The scripts, I remember reading the scripts and I'd get to the end and I couldn't wait to see what would happen. There's a really unique way the writers are crafting these stories that have a smidge of a cliffhanger each one that leaves you wanting more.
Yes.
And for the second half of the season, that's bananas. More so.
He's taking a swig of water right now, but I would like to talk to the finest, the cleanest, the sharpest. Come on, you better let him have it. Let him have it. Show it. Model it. Give it. It's all for you. It's all for you, baby. Take it in like that sip of water he just took. Okay. Coleman?
Yes. Yes, my love.
The sneak peek of Talking Dead, we saw the sneak peek of this coming out, we saw it on Talking Dead.
Yeah.
We see Strand sipping wine in a mansion.
He's sipping
his whole life. What's happening? What does that say about Strand? What's going on?
I think it says a lot about Strand. I think that he and some of his comrades have found a mansion, and they're holed up in there for a while, and that's, you know, they're in recovery in some ways of the past events. And I think that Strand, in his best self, he always feels that he should be back in the elevated state of a mansion. So he found a mansion in decay, but it had an incredible wine cellar.
See?
And so what Strand plus wine cellar equals?
Come on, y'all. good time.
He's having a good old time.
A good time.
So I think he's just, decided that this is where he is right now, and this is his lot, and we'll see where that takes him. See if that mansion is a place where he can do some thinking, or is becoming his prison, and we'll see. And then he needs to move off into the world in some way. And you'll see he's, it's very active with everyone this season, this back half. So everyone's in process.
Okay, I'll take it. Deny.
Yes.
I deny. What has been the most memorable experience for you shooting the show in Texas?
I love Texas. I love Austin. If anyone is from Texas, it's my second home, our second home now. But I had an incident, we worked for so many hours. We wake up at 4, we go to sleep, but usually the banks are closed. We don't work normal hours.
Oh, shush.
Oh my God, Dios mío. So anyway, I tell the lady at the base camp, can I please go to the bank? I need some temporary checks because I run out of checks, like normal people, we run out of checks. So we figure out an hour to go to the bank, and I cannot take my costume off. I have to go. It's like 3 blocks from our set. It's like the first time we're in the city. Usually we're really far away. Banks are not close. So we've managed to get a band. I get to the bank, and it's my normal bank. It's the bank that I usually go, and I show my ID, and the lady said, that's not you. I said, well, no, it's me. This is not real. I mean, I'm covered kind of like in blood. I actually, to look better, I put my hair up because usually my hair is really down and it's a mess. So I was like, okay, I look better. I mean, my makeup lady, she was like, let me put some clips on you. Okay, good. So the lady doesn't recognize who I am. I'm like, no, it's me. This is makeup. I'm doing a show. We're really close. She's like, I need to call my supervisor. I'm like, oh my God, this is really serious. Anyway, I was like, okay, well, we need to do something because I need to go back to work. She's like, what show are you on? And I said, it's Fear the Walking Dead. And she looked at me, she's like, that's in Georgia. I was like, no, that's The Walking Dead.
There's another one.
This is Fear the Walking Dead. This is a prequel. We kind of like, we explain how everything happened. She's like, I was like, oh my gosh, she's just like, she didn't know.
How long did this take? Did you make
I started getting calls from production. I was getting in trouble, and I was like, I really need to go back to work. She's like, so you kill zombies? I'm like, well, I'm trying to. I need to go back to work. Anyway, I got my checks. Yay! So the best part is I go back to set and I tell my peers, I'm like, guys, you won't believe what happened. And Alicia looked at me, she's like, tonight, did you go like that? I said, yeah. She's like, your clips and your hair. I'm like, what? It's pink, red, green.
She looked like a crazy person.
I look like a crazy woman trying to look right with my clips.
Like, of course they're not going to give you money. You look crazy. She's like, yeah, we're just working at the hospital down the road. Like, that sounds
and the hospital was abandoned. And so it made it even crazier.
It was wrong in every level. I tried, but I got my checks.
I love it.
Just got like dirty clothes on because we're so used to being in like dirty clothes.
I've been in those clothes for 7 months. I feel like I was normal.
It's like, just like normal outfits though. And I was like, yeah, but no.
I love it. Maggie Grace. Hi, Maggie Grace. Did you guys see Maggie Grace's outfit? Maggie Grace.
I'm just trying to compare.
Maggie Grace, let him have it.
He's like,
Maggie, let him have
all of our games.
Maggie, let him have it.
Show us.
Show it.
Maggie.
Show it. Maggie, show it.
I don't think they're gonna ask me to do that.
Hey, Maggie.
I think your outfit, you changed your shirt.
Redneck.
And you decided to change it to that.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you were like, why did you change it? Are you gonna go?
Don't divert attention from your outfit.
It looks like it's got blood on it already.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Looks like you could have worn it on set.
I dressed a deer before we came.
We dressed up for you guys.
Garrett and I took a picture and made a comment about, black woman next to a man in that. And he said,
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Oh, tell me.
I got me a black woman. That's right. I loved it. I loved it. I think it's great.
That's how it went.
But this question, it's funny, you guys, come on. Okay, so this question is for Maggie. Send your letter. Send the letters to me. I'll take the letters. Maggie Grace. We've seen how Al, and she's still recovering from what Garrett said and made me say. Okay, we've seen how Althea observes everyone through the lens of the camera, but will she take more of an active role within the group going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think she tells herself it's, holding the journalistic convention and objectivity, but I think, in the same way that Morgan's been through a hell of a lot, and we haven't sort of dug into what Althea's been through. Right. It's a lot. I think anyone that's survived this long in the apocalypse has certainly a fair bit of trauma. And
yes.
And I think she's still doing that calculation that we all do in life of whether or not we can risk love.
Yeah.
But I think, we've seen how much this group has gone through together, and even though it's not always the tribe they might have chosen, like bizarrely their strengths and weaknesses are really perfect for each other and survival, and I think she really leans in.
Love that answer. And speaking of love, I love these two together so much. You guys know I ship. I'm a shipper. Jenna Elfman and Garrett Dillahunt. They love it too. Why do you guys think that the relationship between John and June, Naomi, Laura, I don't know why she got 12 names, y'all, resonates so much with the fans? What is it? What's this magic?
I don't know. I guess we should ask them, but I think we're adorable.
I think you're adorable too. I think you're adorable too. And you know what? These two people both have an inherent kindness as human beings that I think helps with the chemistry between them as characters, because Jenna and Garrett are both lovely. But what do you guys think the magic is? What is it about working together that you think resonates with people?
I think the fact that we adore each other anyway, and I think I love what we create together. I ship us myself. Yay! That's weird to say, but I think this broken love story in this home of the apocalypse is an important one, and that these two people, his unconditional love is so healing that anyone who comes in his proximity heals and improves, like when he and Morgan first came into contact and how they contributed to each other's survival. And I think, when I wash up literally in front of his cabin, and his care and sweetness, which is so inherent in Garrett himself anyway, I certainly...
Garrett's like, that's great.
No, it is. And I like, as an artist, I flourished being on set with him every day. And this was like a big deal for me coming onto this show for myself, and it was intimidating.
Done a great job, Jenna.
Thank you.
Great job.
It was, and with Michael Satrasi misdirecting it, and he's such a complete... Can you hear me still?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. That there's so much love here, and with Ian and Andrew and Scott and Greg and Gail and Garrett and Mikey, I just felt like I could arrive and I felt safe. Yeah. And when you feel safe, you can expand and you can heal and grow. And so I felt like this love that was happening in real life was happening on the screen and in the story. And that broken love, I think, is an important one coming onto this show and in this whole universe. And I think that's why people responded so well. I think a love story in this apocalyptic territory is an important story to tell.
I agree. Hey, Garrett?
Yeah.
What's something that you'd like to see from John Dory that you haven't seen yet? What's something you want to bless us with?
I'm in the bog.
Yeah, have a piss up with Lenny in the bog. I threw one out.
Careful what you wish for.
I don't know, man. I really like all the things I get to do. I'm kind of a comic book geek myself, and there was this comic when I was a kid called Lone Wolf and Cub. You know that? Yeah. There's this wandering samurai who had a baby on his back. And this really wouldn't work well on a show, so I don't really want to do it. But in my head, I kind of want a baby on my back with my little guns and things. I think that would be kind of fun. But realistically, I think we don't really know much about John's past. We know why he moved to the cabin and all that stuff, but we haven't met his family, or if he had one, or did he have a wife? I don't, it'd be fun to explore that, I think, as time goes on.
Gail?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Gail.
Hey, Beth.
Will there still be tension within the group for characters with questionable pasts, like June? Naomi, Laura, and Charlie.
My hair.
She's got 12 names.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you first say that your name is Laura, and then no, it's Naomi.
He named me Laura. I didn't do it.
Well, yeah, but
I just wouldn't tell him my name.
Exactly. And then you up and left him. I know. I up and left the lover. Yeah.
Who knows what John strings out? You know?
So I think that I think that we're dealing with clearly wounded people. And let's not forget that Charlie was the mole inside the stadium.
Yes, she was.
For the vultures and responsible for
the death.
So, you know, it's going to be hard to overcome these things. And, you know, so we'll see how and if they can integrate within the group. You know, it really depends on, are they going to embrace Madison's philosophy?
Oh, Madison.
Or are they going to be essentially, you know, in it for themselves and keep people out?
Yeah.
So you'll have to watch and see.
Y'all need to watch and see. I'm telling you, this show is great. Coleman? Hi,
Yeah.
honey. You directed an episode of Fear this season. What was it?
That experience was phenomenal. And at first, and I have to give it up because I took a colleague of mine to see a play that I directed in LA. And she turns to me and she says, I think you should direct for the show. And I thought, I think you're right. And it was Gail Ann Hurd. So from then on, I just know that I've been so supported and embraced by AMC in particular, all the executives and the teams, and especially our showrunners, our new showrunners, our old showrunners. I think that, you know, that I just knew that I was set up to win in every single way. Like every single person on the stage wanted me to win.
Yeah.
And so my team, my DP, the first ADs, they all got behind, you know, this, you know, I've been directing in theater for 25 years, so I was taking what I learned from there. But I've been, you know, shadowing. I shadowed, you know, Andrew Bernstein a couple times last season, and Michael Satrazemis has been a great mentor of mine, really helping me, you know, just, you know, being open. Everyone's open to say, hey, is this something you want to do? We want to help you do it.
Love that.
And so it's been beautiful. My episode, it, you know, features a couple great stalwarts on this stage.
Awesome.
And they really...
Well, shout them out. Who did the best job?
Well, basically, Jenna and Lenny and Maggie were the stars of mine.
Oh, it was likely one of my favorite episodes.
What was it like, Maggie? Tell us what it was like being directed by Coleman.
Coleman's not going to say it, so I'll say it for him. He did a phenomenal job. And he was utterly amazing. And I think that the real benefit we got from Coleman as the actors is that he knows the shorthand. We already shoot a show like a movie in 8 days. Coleman had 7 days, and he made it feel like we had 12 days because the shorthand just meant we could go further in less time, and it was a great experience. And he will do more. He has to do more, otherwise I'm not coming out to play.
Oh no! I mean, we got his director's cut, and we were blown away. It was. You said you were set up to win, and you most definitely did.
Thank you.
So infinitely prepared. And then he has this like handy sidekick for all the sort of dark side called the sock puppet.
Yeah.
Like he's the most giving, loving, sweet, nurturing director who just again has all the shorthand. And then sock puppet.
And literally, Mandy, one of our makeup artists, made me a sock puppet, and it had a little beret
Like
on
a
my
beret,
beard, just
cigar.
like me, and a beard. And he's really mean. And he's sort of like, you know, he breaks things down and he curses. He's got a filthy mouth and inappropriate. And then there's Sweet Coleman, who's just nurturing and loving in the room. So I let him do my dirty work.
Alicia, I hear that there's a Alicia episode coming up. What are you excited about that?
Was the most rewarding episode of television ever. I got to work with Michael Satrazemis. We both just became like we just adored each other by the end of it because we worked so hard. It's a full episode basically with Alicia. And what's so important about this is that Alicia's lost her mother and her brother. She's the only one left from the Clark family. She's also the only person left from the pilot. I'm just going to point that out. And I've been waiting for a chance to see her on her own and how she's actually going to deal with all of this. Because it's not just whether she, can she keep going?
Yeah.
And if she can, is she going to be more like her mother? Is she able to step into those shoes? Is she going to be better? Is she going to be worse? Is she able to come back from that darkness? And really, we've seen her in a dark place, and it's only going to get worse before it gets better. And this is the one episode, it's like a capsule episode where we get to really get inside her mind. We get to see her involved with the storm in a lot of ways. That's sort of like a personification of her inner turmoil workings, and that's been really fun to play against. But it was just, we poured our hearts into that episode. It's coming up soon, and it's got a very interesting pairing of people that kind of come to find her and how she deals with it. It's I don't know, I haven't seen it. Maybe it's like chocolate.
No, it's gonna be great. I like that you told us without giving us too much. We still get to see and enjoy. We're going to open up for questions in about 5 minutes, so if you guys want to carefully find the mic. Safety second. Kindness
I just
first.
want to say hi
Kindness
to everybody
first.
in the way back.
Hi.
Hi, all of you. Oh, we hear you. We see you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for sleeping in those lines. You're awesome.
I want to ask one more question before I throw to these wonderful women. Lenny, is it strange not knowing what's happening in season 9 of The Walking Dead?
Yeah, it's really strange. There's a way we get our scripts. We get it through a particular kind of program on our iPads, and you have to put in a special thing, and so that you don't get a hard copy, and it's watermarked with your name on it. And I used to be on The Walking Dead one, and then I go into it, and it's there on my computer, but I can't get into it, so I don't know what's happening.
They locked you
and they
out,
won't tell me.
Lenny.
And it's kind of annoying, but I don't tell them what's going on this show, so we can both play that game.
Okay, we're going to bounce over to these three lovelies. Hi, ladies. Hi, what's your names?
I'm Cassidy.
I'm going to steal some.
Hi, honeys. What do you got?
My question is for the birthday girl.
Hi,
so, who do you think would win in a fight, Lexa or Alicia Clark?
Oh, actually, that's a good question now. Because Alicia Clark has stepped up. She's but Lex has been trained for it.
What?
I'm gonna go. It's Lexa, I think. Lexa. Yeah. Also, I think obviously people are happy about that answer, so we'll go with that.
Hi, honey bun. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Kylie.
Hi, Kylie. What's your question?
Since Morgan crossed over from The Walking Dead to Fear the Walking Dead, my question is anybody else gonna cross over?
Ooh, is anybody else coming?
I mean, it's a shared universe, so it's possible. I would never tell you at this moment, but I really want to.
If someone's coming, wink.
What's it?
You just blink. That's twice. I mean, two people are coming. Well, hello, Negan. No? Yes, right?
Glen Reese season 1.
Oh, I didn't see that. I saw the bat, guys.
And it's season 1 Lucille.
Yeah, I'm a little traumatized by the mixture of that bat. Okay, go. I'm sorry. Question.
My name's Kayla. Hi,
Kayla.
Hi. I was just wondering, is Al gay? Because I want her to be.
There we go.
I mean, there's a lot we don't know about Al yet, and it's keep watching because we're gonna, start to dig into who she is a little bit more.
That's a great. No, what
we got the tongue.
Maybe, pumpkin.
We got the tongue.
Come on, we don't need the tongue. Said maybe. Maybe's good, you guys. Maybe is great. I love a maybe. Okay, sir, that was a great Glen Reed, by the way. Yes.
Hi, my name is Edgar.
Hi, Edgar.
My question is, although we may never really know, what do you guys think caused the zombie virus? Or flu or whatever it is?
The meth from Breaking Bad.
Good answer.
That's confirmed. That's canon.
It just became canon. Hi.
Hello, my name is Sean. I really enjoyed the last season, and I know that the narrative was done this way to sort of conceal the big surprises. But for the actors, what was it like filming something where part of it wouldn't be revealed until they had a flashback, maybe 3 or 4 episodes down the line? And for the writers, are you going to continue this format of having flashbacks and current time going on in the upcoming seasons?
Thanks, Sean.
Well, I mean, that structure was really exciting for us to get to sort of tell those emotional stories across time, and also to see the actors embody, sort of very different versions of the characters from the past to where they are in the present, and kind of filling in the gaps of how the person that they were in the flashbacks became the person we see in the present. And I think it was really exciting to watch all that come to life, and because of these guys, all of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to play as well. As an actor, you get to play 2 versions of yourself, or that character, I should say, which is always exciting. As for how it transpires, we kind of get a general arc, so some of the big surprises you were talking about, we already knew about. And that helps us be able to jump back and forth from those 2 timelines. But yeah, it's kind of tricky because often you're like, wait, what timeline are we in? And like, should I be ready right now? Oh, wait, yes, we're always ready.
Some days you shoot like one timeline in the morning and then the other one in the afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
But for me, it was really fun because, we come from Mexico to Texas, and now with the back and forth time, I really got to know how we are doing, how we got here. Like, oh, we went through that. That's why we're like this in the present. So it was challenging to kind of like put it together in the script.
So they didn't tell you what it was going to be when you started. It was like kind of you found out bit by bit each week.
The details, yeah. Okay. Like we knew that the present time we were really starting. We were in a mess. We were in the bushes. We're like attacking us. Yeah. But we didn't know how we got there together. The reason specifically. So as the scripts kept coming, it became really, really exciting to be like, oh wow, and then we kept looking at each other. I get it.
Yeah. At a certain point, when I came into both timelines at the end, I went back and took all 6 or 7 scripts that were leading up to that of the 2 timelines. Yeah. And I separated from every script the 2 timelines. Yeah. And put all of the present day timeline in one script and all of the flashback timeline in another script so that I could then read consecutively, chronologically, all of the emotional story from the flashback and then present day.
My address, and you just pop that in the mail so I can also read it chronologically.
But there was so many emotional turns, I had to sort of put it in front of me chronologically to then just rewrap my head around it to know where everybody was at and who knew what. Right. Because when you're bouncing around, you forget who knows what with each other in terms of the relationships. But it was a fun thing to do, to read it that way.
Love it. Thanks, Sean.
Hi. Oh, yeah, you get a clap, Sean. Yes, look, Sean with a great voice. Radio.
Sean said, I need a moment. Give me a moment. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, everyone. I'm Angelina.
Hi, Angelina.
My question's for Greg Terrell. What is the difference that you find between The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead with the zombies? So what do you do that's different and unique about the Fear the Walking Dead zombies versus Walking Dead?
Well, first and foremost, one thing for us is shooting in Austin versus Georgia, just from a technical standpoint, it's completely different. Because in Atlanta, it's the summertime and everybody's sweating and it's hot. Keeping the makeup on, it's more challenging because of the sweat. When we were in Austin, we could glue the hell out of those people, and that stuff would never come off because it was kind of cold. So we were able to get away with a lot more elaborate masks and full pullover zombie faces that we couldn't necessarily do as much in Georgia because of the heat, because of the durability. But so the zombies look different. They look different in Austin and in the wintertime. And like my first time on set was, I think it was your first episode with the water slide.
Yeah.
When you and Alicia, we had this whole gag where we had all the walkers going down the water slide and landing into that muck with all the green stuff growing on them. The writers have done a great job of keeping the gags separate. Like anything we've done on Walking Dead, we won't do on Fear and vice versa, because the tornado, which is an amazing idea, I was like, read that and went, why did we think of that? That's so cool, is have zombies getting pulled into the air. So for us, we get a chance to do something a little different, and we take the environment into account. So the dried out heat of the Austin, Texas desert makes the walkers look a little different. So my team, I use a lot of the same people, because we shoot in sort of alternate times of the year. But I do want to say one thing based on something Jenna said earlier. With the people that moved over from Walking Dead to Fear the Walking Dead, Casey Caldwell, Mike Satrazimus, who's the producing director, that we really wanted to instill some continuity. And again, the crew works so hard, and while we're in Georgia sweating our butts off in the summer, they're shivering in Atlanta under water towers and rain and all this crazy stuff. So it's kind of the opposite of what we do, but we wanted there to be continuity. So we have a lot different, the looks are very different, but when you watch Walking Dead this season, you're going to see a different look for the walkers too, but we'll talk about that later.
Talk about it later, like 30 minutes. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
Hi. What's your name?
Leon.
Hi, Leon.
I had a quick, brief, twofold question. One for the showrunners and producers. Do you plan on using Baja as a location again, now if you haven't, or in the future? Also, to Mr. Gary Delahunt, loved you on Deadwood. Yes. Will you ever see a Fear the Walking Deadwood?
Oh, am I starting?
Nicely done, sir.
That's a great idea. I think that would be funny. And then maybe me and Kim would get a scene together. That'd be cool. Yeah, man.
And Baja-wise, unlikely, but you never know.
I have another question for Andrew and Ian. I'm not leaving you guys. I just forgot to get this in. What can you tell us about the antagonist or the antagonists that they're going to find in the second half of the season? What can you tell us?
We can tell you there is one.
Or there may not be one.
You guys. Come on, guys.
We may have gotten a glimpse of an antagonist in the trailer. But we will say this person or persons may know our characters maybe even better than they do. And
they may know the well?
Have some insights into them that our characters don't even have yet.
Okay. That excites me greatly. Yes, sir. Hi. What's your name?
My name's Derek Frank.
Hi, Derek Frank. What's your question?
Derek, actually. With
Derek. I'm sorry, honey.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
What's your question?
I got like a statement question.
Okay, let's hear it.
First is, I don't want to slide everybody up there, because I love y'all.
Okay.
But boy, Garrett and Maggie, I love your new characters, and I really hope nothing happens to you guys.
I hate to tell you, but
I'll pay you later.
Show's called Fear the...
And Lenny, you're like my super favorites. I really like Morgan, and I always thought Morgan got a raw deal in the comics, with his son, and then what ended up happening to him. Robert, don't take offense to that. I'm sorry. It is the way it is. I'm glad you made the decision to keep Morgan around, because, man, he's kick-ass. But now here's my question.
Here's the question.
Okay, you've got this time lapse between when last season and now Morgan coming on. Now, did you guys do that because you had some cast members, which we lost some really, really important cast members this season that I'm sure everyone loves, but did you do it so it gives you the opportunity to fill in that time gap and bring back some of those actors for like special guest star spots and satisfy our our fandom of wanting to see them?
Good question.
I would say
full of love.
We obviously like to play around with time, so I don't think we rule out, jumping through time ever again.
But I will say the Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead timelines are, there's some leapfrogging going on. Like, things are going to change on The Walking Dead. And, our windows together will be brief. But they'll happen.
Okay.
And I know that's a riveting answer.
Thank you so much. Okay, we have time
Thank you, Derek. Not Daryl.
We have time for one more. It's you, honey. What's your question?
Hi, honey. My name is Ana Gomez, and I would like to ask you. You said that you're not planning to record again in Baja. Are you planning other states or maybe other places in Mexico or just the U.S.?
The actors would love to hear the answer to this too.
Where do we need to live?
Antarctica.
Where do I have to put my kids in school?
We can tell you that obviously the first half of this season took place in Texas. There will at least be one other state that is explored in the back half of the season.
Yeah, there is a lot of travel. You might have seen that truck just obliterate that walker.
Our locations department got really tired of seeing the slug line exterior road.
A lot of road.
Yeah.
Well, guys, listen, this has been wonderful for me because I love you. I want to say one more thing before I let you guys go. What you see on the show, the love you see amongst the characters, what you saw in the gag reel, that's who all of these people are, from the creators to the actors. They are balls of love. They have created an amazing show. If you haven't caught up yet, please go to Hulu and watch seasons 1 through 3. Go to AMC.com or the AMC app and catch up on the first half of season 4. And please tune in August 12th for the second half of this wonderful season. I want to thank these wonderful people. It has been a joy.